Welcome to the F3 podcast, where we discuss all things that pertain to faith, family, and finances. And remember, no subject is off limits. We are your host today. I am Dr. Lionel M. Blair Sr., and I'm sitting next to the sainted mother herself, the Empress, her eminence, her holiness, her
Oh Lord.
gloriousness, Saint Jasmine the First. My wonderful wife, Dr. Jasmine Blair. We got a good one for you today, as always.
Welcome everybody to the F3 podcast. Shout out to all of our first time viewers and our long time viewers. We're so glad to have you with us. Listen, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so you'll be
Yes.
notified every time we premiere a new episode. And listen, do not hesitate if you have a topic you want to drop us a voicemail. Click that link to find out more about how to support, but you can also drop us a voicemail because remember, no subject is off limits, and we will talk about what your pastor wants.
Yep.
So we definitely got a good one for you today. I'm going to kick this off to you to get us started today.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about desiring a better life. Now, this one gonna hit heavy with a lot of y'all. All right, this one is gonna hit heavy with a lot of you all today because God said what Jesus said, what I come that you may have life and have life more abundantly. So he wants you to experience a certain quality of life, and that quality of life should be experienced in abundance. But there are some obstacles that we have to face, and
Come
some
on.
things that we have to address, some principles we must apply, okay, in order to really get that life that we desire, because God wants us to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? God desires that we have a better life. It's in us to want better and to want more. But a lot of people try to shame us into wanting better and want more. Oh, that's prideful, that's vain, that's
Come
this
on.
and that and the third. But see, you got to understand the quality of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand the quality of heaven, and we're supposed to be kingdom citizens, then we're supposed to be living a reality and a replica of that in the earth realm. But there are some things that we have to address within ourselves first. Okay. And one of the things that I tell people is this: you got to get a vision for your life.
That's good.
And it's something we tell people all the time. You got to get some kind of vision for your life. What is it that's in you? What is it that you can see for your life? Because see, a lot of you are waiting on God to speak to you when He's giving you a portrait.
This.
He's giving you a portrait
Mm-hmm.
already of the kind of life that He wants you to live. Look at the things that inspire you. Okay. But see, the church teach you that's flesh and that's secular, so you ain't supposed to deal with that. And see, this is why religion keeps you poor. Um, some people they have a desire to drive a better car, to live in a better house. Nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? If Jesus was on the earth today, I'm pretty sure he would not be driving a 98 Honda.
Mm.
Okay. Now, he probably wouldn't need a whole fleet of cars, but I'm sure see God has a standard for himself. That's why Jesus wore a robe that was worth a year's wages. He has a standard for himself. Nothing wrong with having a certain standard for yourself. So you got to get a vision
Mm-hmm.
for your life. What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of house you want to live in? What kind of car you want to drive? Get a vision for that. You understand? Nothing wrong with desiring that. Nothing wrong with believing God for that. I used to think, oh man, why people get all excited when they believe in God for a car and they actually get the car? Like what is that? Like I used to think that stuff was kind of petty, low
Mm-hmm.
level, petty, that kind of thing. Because I was so in the glory. Okay, I was so in the glory, but I still needed money. So, so get a vision for your life. Get a vision of the quality of life you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of life, because it's not always in quantity; it's in quality. Okay, you may not want a mansion, need a mansion, but you need a house big enough okay, for you and what God has called you to do.
That part.
You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? No, I'm sorry. I ain't finna live in an apartment my entire life. And I'm glad that we decided that we wasn't going to live in an apartment our entire life, and now we got a house.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So God desires you to own. You understand what I'm saying? God's promise to Israel was land.
Mm.
Okay, it was the promised land. Israel is called the Holy Land. So God's promises to you is dealing with land and possessions.
Mm.
You understand? You know, and I say this too, and you're really good with helping people with this too.
Mm-hmm.
Set specific goals.
That part.
You understand what I'm saying? Set specific goals. Okay, it ain't gonna drop in your lap tomorrow, but set goals.
Right.
Towards it. Set goals. Whether starting a business,
Mm-hmm.
start a business, or get out of debt, or whatever the case may be. What goals do you have that's progressing towards the vision that you want?
That's good. And I want to talk about that right there
Yeah.
because a lot of people have what I call blanket faith or foolish faith, like we
Yeah.
talked about in the other episode when it comes to a better life. We sit there and we want better, but then we put all the responsibility and the diligence in the hands of God. Oh, well, God will provide. God will give me a better life. God knows what his servant have need of before he even asks. And we set the expectation, the work and the diligence and the endurance and the faith and the responsibility all on God. So if it doesn't come to pass, what do? We pacify it in the name of the Lord. Well, it's just not in God's timing. Or maybe God doesn't want me to have it yet. Well, God closed one door so he can open another door. This is a lot of religiosity, stupidity, and religious philosophicalness, if we want to be honest,
Yeah.
to cover up the fact that we are not go-getters for the better life that we seek to achieve. We
Yeah.
want a better life. We want more finances. We want more access to things, but we put it in the hands of God as a passive excuse not to take accountability when we don't move forward and do the things that we need to do.
Yeah.
Well, maybe God's saying not, God's no is just a not right now. No, it has nothing to do with God. You did not pursue enough for what it is that you say that you want.
Come on.
And it becomes a sense of mental satisfaction to talk about the things that we want, but not actually put forward the hard work and the discipline to achieve a better life.
Yeah.
We have to remember Deuteronomy tells us what? God gave us the power to go get wealth. I'm pulling scripture up in a minute for y'all, book, chapter, verse, people. But God gave us the power to go get wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the better life that you are praying and hoping and putting in the hands of God to provide for you will come when you activate the power that God has already put on your life to go get the wealth to create the better life. Because what? Money answers all things.
That's right.
So you need an answer to the problem that you have, and that solution comes in the power that God has already given you before Jesus Christ was manifest in the earth.
Come on.
Oh. Go ahead.
Remember the Lord your God, for it is he that gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant with you. Whenever God makes a covenant with you,
Deuteronomy 8:18, for those of you checking the Bible.
Yeah. Wealth is attached to God's covenant.
Come on.
You can't be in covenant with God and not have wealth.
That's good.
So if you're broke, that means you out of covenant with God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's put it in you to get it. So it's not, oh, I'm waiting on God kind of thing. No, God is waiting on you to get a vision, get a plan of action in motion, okay, towards your goal. And then guess what? That's when God starts moving, manifesting, opening doors for you. When you start moving, God ain't gonna move till you move.
That part.
Oh, we waiting on a move of God, not until you move.
No, you're not. You're waiting on the move of God as an excuse for you not to go forward and be diligent and behave as a conscious, good steward of what God has already given you.
Right. God is not going to move, and some of you need to hear this, because you sit on there waiting on an answer from God, and God is waiting on you to move on the little bit that He's already given you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you haven't even started a business yet.
Mm.
Okay, it don't cost nothing to get an LLC, okay, or a nonprofit or whatever the case may be. It don't cost nothing to get your plan in motion. You ain't doing nothing. So because you ain't doing nothing, God ain't moving on it. Okay. Also, what skill set do you have that you can monetize? That's what you need to, boy. See. This is some seminar stuff right here
Mm-hmm.
that y'all getting for free, which you probably need to sow a seed on this. But anyway, um, what skill set that you have that can be monetized? What is it that you can do that can meet the needs of others? Because you're paid according to the needs that you are able to meet. That's why you get up and go to work, because they need your skill set or what you're able to do. It may not be something that you're the best at, but you're able to do it. Okay. Huh? If you're washing dishes, they need somebody to wash dishes. Okay.
Mm.
Huh? So you may not be the best dishwasher, but you're a competent dishwasher.
Hello.
So what is it that you're at least competent at doing that people need, that is in demand, that you can get paid for? And then you need to study that market.
Mm.
See, I'm okay. Okay. You study that market. So you need to get a vision for your life. Okay.
Yes.
And then you need to implement all these things that we just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing too, you need to establish relationships that are beneficial for where you're going.
Yes, you do.
And I think this is one of the most important parts right here, because see, even if you don't have a vision, relationships helps you with a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh? But that's a different teaching. But first of all, you got to stop hanging around low vibrational people, people who think negative,
Mm-hmm.
people who talk negative, people who are lazy, people who, oh my God, they don't have no drive.
Stuck, stagnant, and complacent.
Yeah, they have no drive for better. Ain't nothing worse than you being someone who's motivated, and then you stuck
Mm-hmm.
around somebody, okay, that ain't doing nothing with themselves. They have no drive for better. They have no desire for more. You can't even talk about the advanced dreams, goals, and visions, and
Mm.
epiphanies and revelations and all the stuff that you have, because they have nothing to contribute to the conversation, because they are stuck, stagnant, and lazy.
Mm. My God.
See, you need to be around people
Mm-hmm.
that will challenge you.
That
You need to be
iron sharpens
yeah,
iron.
real relationships will bring out the best in you. You bring out the best in them. They teach you new skill sets, you teach them new skill sets. You should be able to learn from the people you are in relationship with.
Mm.
Okay. Huh? And some of you are stuck because you are around everyone else that you're teaching. You are the teacher of your circle. You are the chief instructor of your circle. You need to be around people who you can not only necessarily teach, but people that can teach you.
Mm.
Okay. Huh? You need to be around mutually
Yes.
beneficial relationships, because you learn something new. Because you will only be as rich as your quality of relationships.
Mm.
Because your next level is a person.
Woo.
Okay. Let me say it again. Your next level is a person, but see, we don't want to accept that, because we want to do everything on our own, because we want the testimony of saying, I did it by myself.
Come on.
Okay. What's the point of what's the point of going around the same mountain over and over and over again until you eventually get it right when someone who may be a lot further ahead than you are, or maybe have the resources that you need or the knowledge that you need can help you
Mm-hmm.
get there.
Come on, that's good.
Relationships will shorten the distance between you and your goals and you and the life that you want to live. That's why who's in your ear is important.
Very important.
So you got to stop hanging around low vibrational people. Okay. Stop dealing with people who do not encourage or support you. Stop dealing with people who do not encourage and support what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, if you're called to ministry like we are, listen, you love people, you pour into people all the time, but you don't hang with the people that you pour into. I mean, come on, we learned that from Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
We learned that from Jesus. Okay, he ministered to the masses. And when the masses wanted to follow him to the next city, he was like, nah, y'all stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, you have to stop dealing with people that cannot lift you up.
And that's very good. And another thing that I want to focus on in this topic is that we put too much emphasis on waiting on God sometimes. You
Yeah,
know, wanting a better life requires you to learn new skills. It requires you to have new disciplines. It requires you to think differently. It requires you to have more of an active faith and make conscious
active,
decisions.
right?
A lot of people have passive faith and it don't happen. Well, it just must not be God's will. It's not necessarily that it was not God's will, but you did not pursue for it. And that's why you didn't see the type of change that you thought you were going to see. It's going to require something different from you. And that's something that a lot of people are not ready to face. The life that they want is on the other side of the version of themselves that they are, and it requires faith, it requires prayer, it requires fasting, it requires deliverance, but it requires you getting uncomfortable with the life that you currently have to be willing to pursue the life that you want. See, some people want a better life, but they don't actually want to do differently and put in hard work and discipline to
Right.
achieve that life.
Yeah.
They feel like it's owed to them and it should just drop in their lap.
Hmm.
But if God, you're sitting here saying, oh, in God's timing, what he's already given you the power to do.
Right.
He's giving you the power to go get well. He's already told you what is the answer to all of the problems that you have. 99% of your problems can be solved with a dollar amount. Whether you have it or not is irrelevant, but I can guarantee you 99% of your problems can be solved with a dollar amount.
Mhm.
So that tells you you're going to have to tap into another version of your identity. Y'all get this stuff for free. You have to tap into another version of your identity, tap into your passions, and then begin to use those passions to bring you the answer that you need to ultimately achieve the life that you want, that God intended for you to have in the first place.
You know, decisions change seasons.
Mm. Oh, that's good.
We're waiting on God,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, right? We're waiting on God when really God is waiting on us to make a choice and to
Mm.
execute that choice. Choices change seasons. You want your season to change, you want your fortune to change, then guess what? You're going to have to change. And then you're going to have to walk according to that change. Faith without works is dead.
Mm.
It's not enough just to believe, okay, if there's no action behind that. There has to be corresponding action
Mm.
behind what you say you believe.
That's good.
So if you believe that God desires you to be wealthy or God designed you to be wealthy, you have to
Mm-hmm.
start making wealthy people choices.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Mm.
You're going to have to start making wealthy people choices.
And they're not always the kind of choices that you think they're supposed to
Yeah.
be. I can tell, and you know, most of us can tell. A lot of people have not really studied the life that they want to have. The
Right.
first thing you need to do is start studying the life that you want to have. You study people that are already living that life. You'll stop making some of the stupid decisions that you've already been making. I know this sounds harsh to some of you, but see, we look at TV and we assume that that's what people who really live that life in reality do. And you will be surprised at the big difference of it all.
Yeah. For real. And another thing I want to make too, just about relationships. Honestly, and this is gonna have to this gonna sound harsh to y'all too. You gotta stop hanging around broke folk.
Uh-oh.
See, some of you continue to live in poverty because you hang around your poverty environment.
Mm.
I don't care if you from the hood. Listen, I don't care if you live in the hood. Take a drive outside of town. Take a drive outside the hood. Okay. Huh? Get into new environments. Meet new people. Deal with people outside of your environment. You understand what I'm saying? Deal with people outside of your environments. That's the problem with a lot of folk. You know, you keep hanging around the same folk, being loyal to the thing that's keeping you stagnant.
Mm.
And listen, I'm not saying, devalue people or whatever the case may be. You may have some friends that's broke, but guess what? Hanging around your broke friends doing broke activities is not going to help you.
No.
So hey, I love y'all. Listen, we'll get together at some point, but right now I'm busy doing this.
That's good.
You understand? You don't gotta just throw them away like they trash, but you have to stop hanging around them like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because your company is a is a prophetic image of your future.
That's good.
Your company is a prophetic image of your future. So you gotta stop hanging around broke people. Broke people don't inspire you. Hang
Mm.
around people that inspire you. Okay, who is it that you're connected to right now that inspires you?
Come
Everybody,
on.
anybody who is prosperous, they got somebody in their life that inspired them.
Right.
Okay. If you have nobody that you can look up to, or nobody that at least inspires you in any kind of way, okay, that may be in a greater space financially or whatever the case may be, you're never going to be wealthy doing this by yourself.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That's
I
good.
think being by yourself is just as worse than hanging around broke folk.
Mm.
You gotta, but you gotta stop hanging around broke people. That's your uncles, your cousins, your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister. You gotta get from around them folks sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and take a season to focus on you and your life and what's going to build you. All right, and another thing I want to address too. Um, we have to stop feeling bad for wanting better.
That's good.
We got to stop feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially we deal with the church world,
Mm-hmm.
and religion will make you feel so bad for wanting more. They make
Mm.
you feel so bad for um dreaming big. They want to call that arrogant. See, their version of humility is keep you at a certain level to where you don't excel
Mm.
past certain folk. You understand? Some people, and the sad part about it, some leaders, they don't want you to get too rich. You want to know why? Because then you may outgrow them.
Mm. Wickedness.
You see what I'm saying? See, some people, they will take your middle class tithes, as long as they have
Ooh.
enough of them to sustain them. They don't care if you're middle class, okay?
Mm.
But if you get past that middle class and you become financially in the upper class, okay, and then guess what? More money, more options.
Mm.
You may want to move then, okay? You may want to move your family somewhere. You may want to, and see that's why you leaders need to get money.
Mm.
Before you start a ministry, you need to be financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different teaching. But the church will make you feel bad. You know, you have to. It's nothing wrong with desiring prosperity. It's nothing wrong with desiring bigger and better. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with desiring nice things, as long as you don't go overboard. But there's nothing wrong with desiring these things because it's in us,
Right.
and religion suppresses that. Religion suppresses that, and then we want to call that humility. No, no, that's false humility. That's false humility. A lot of people don't know this about God. God is flamboyant. Okay, huh? I see the Lord seated upon a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple.
Mm. That's a big road.
That's a big robe. Okay, and the seraphims crying, "Holy, holy, holy." That's a whole parade when God comes.
Mm-hmm.
The angels go before him. That's a whole parade. Okay, y'all not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me. You understand? God is very loud. He's very flamboyant. He likes to be seen. I remember the Queen Elizabeth. You know, they asked her, "Why do you wear these loud colors?"
Yeah, she was only wearing lime green.
Yeah, she wearing lime green and pink and all this other stuff. She said, "Because I want to be seen."
At least she was honest.
She was honest, and as the queen, she has every right to be seen.
Mm. Had.
Yeah, she had. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, but see, you know, we call that arrogance. There's a time to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
When you're serving, that's not it. But when you're not serving,
When you're ruling, that definitely
yeah,
is it.
yeah, because the grace is on you, and God is trying to raise you to rule.
Mm.
And and this is the last point I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you say all the time. We have to change our relationship with money.
Absolutely.
We have to change our relationship
And I
with
won't
money.
get too deep into that on this platform for
Yeah,
obvious reasons. But as I was saying earlier, money is an answer, and it's all wealth is something that God has given us the power to get. Deuteronomy 8:18. So if we recognize not only is it an answer, but God already gave us the power to go get it, then we've got to change the relationship that we've already had. Because if your relationship doesn't align with it being an answer and an innate power that God Himself gave you, then you're functioning with it differently, and it's not going to provide the answer that you need for the life that you are acquiring to live.
right.
You're gonna be sitting there, oh Jesus, Jesus, bless me with the house, bless me with a car, bless me with oh Jesus, Jesus. You're gonna be sitting there waiting on God to bring you something that's not gonna happen, and you're gonna get bitter with God. And it's not because God doesn't want to see you blessed, it's because He's already put everything you need to live that life inside of you. But it's up to you to read the scriptures, get a revelation of it, change your relationship with money, and then walk that out into manifestation.
And another thing too, and some of you may not agree with this, but I'm telling you, it's gonna bless you if you take heed. Stop despising the rich.
Mm.
Okay.
That was tough for some of y'all right there.
Stop despising the rich. You don't have to agree with everything they say and do. All right. But stop despising their status.
Right.
Okay. You don't have to agree with everything Jay-Z say and do. Lord knows I don't. But guess what? The man's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to aspire towards. How did he get there? You need to study how he get there. I'm just using him as an example. Warren Buffett. Okay.
There are
A lot of
many
a
examples.
lot of these guys, you know, that are millionaires and billionaires. Okay. You don't have to agree with them or what they support or back or whatever. But you do not despise their status. Matter of fact, the Bible says don't even curse the rich. Okay.
Mm.
So, in other words, don't even speak against their status.
Come on. Just keep your little mouth shut
Yeah,
and then unlock that power in you to go get wealth.
yeah. And then 2 more points I want to make, and then we're going to be done. Study the wealthy.
Mm.
I just mentioned that. Study the wealthy. Okay. The wealthy have certain disciplines that most of us don't have. What's that thing you say? Wealthy are those who willing to do what everybody else is not doing long enough, or something like that. You said.
I'll save that for another platform. Dude. That's not for this platform.
Okay.
You telling too much now.
Okay. Study the wealthy.
You say you gonna make the point, not me.
Okay. Yeah, because see, we give y'all some good stuff right there. Y'all need to sow a seed. Y'all really need to sow a seed on this right here. Study the wealthy, imitate the wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no point in reinventing the wheel if the wheel is already turning successfully. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay. Study the wealthy. And I will also add to study money in general. Money's changing, and I'll just leave that at that.
Listen, thank you for joining us on this episode of the F3 podcast. Definitely tell us in the comments what you think. If you're somebody that has gone through this mental metamorphosis and you've had to change your relationship with money, tell us down in the comments.
Yeah.
We definitely want to hear from you. Follow us on IG at King in Queen Blair. And until next time on the F3 podcast, goodbye.